Tajikistan is known for its magnificent history. In addition to the country's beautiful nature, foreign tourists are also eager to learn about Tajikistan's history. There are more than 3,000 ancient sites in the country. The majority of foreign travelers make sure to visit the Hissor Historical and Cultural Reserve. The area of the facility is more than 17 hectares and is based in a caravan city along the Great Silk Road. 500 years ago, the gates of an ancient fortress were built using these stones, which witnesses the centuries-old history of the Central Asian people. The fortified gates protected 16 fortresses, which were eventually destroyed. Hissor was the capital of East Bukhara Emirate up to the 1920s and was called Shumon until the 8th century BC, which means the forehead of the earth. The city has a long history which dates back to ancient times. In 1946, archaeologist Alexei Okladnikov found the Stone Age artifacts in this facility. The ancient items represent a culture which existed 8,000 years ago. The archaeologists also discovered a tomb dating back to the Bronze Age. The burial ceremony was conducted 4,200 years ago. These facts testify that Hissor is an ancient city. Other items discovered provided evidence that this holy site was taken over by the army of Alexander of Macedon in the 4th century BC. One of the proofs is a recently renovated amphitheater. There is evidence proving that the Greeks ruled in this area. Archaeologists discovered a tomb which is characteristic of their customs. The researchers also found this Corinthian order capital in the Hissor fortress. These artifacts show that Hissor was part of the empire and witnessed large-scale historical events in the Central Asia area.
Со всеми историческими событиями, происходившими в Средней Азии.
In the 6th century, the fortress was taken over by the Persian Empire. Within 2 centuries, the area was fully managed by Islamic rulers. Religious facilities such as madrasas, mausoleums, and mosques built by the Samanids, the Ghaznavids, Genghis Khan's Chagatai Khanate, and the Timurid dynasty are currently being reconstructed. The Hissor mountain range is located near the Tajik capital. There is a beautiful view of the Hissor Valley. It is the highest point of the fortress, which is located at 850 meters above sea level. There is a palace of Hissor rulers at the top of this peak. At the moment, the ancient facility is being reconstructed and a museum will be built there. Experts say that there are many facilities which need to be upgraded. Only 20% of the sites in the Hissor Valley have been studied. The mysterious site is full of historical evidence. This place is full of history. We can see it from every angle. If we look closely, we can find ancient items used by the people for centuries. For instance, there is a fragment of a ceramic dish which is at least 1,000 years old. The fortress, which has witnessed the centuries-old history of the Central Asians, is becoming more popular among foreign tourists. About 9,000 foreign travelers visited the fortress last year. This is my first trip to Dushanbe. I've been very interested in the history of Tajikistan. Therefore, I decided to visit the country as a tourist. I have been to the Hissor fortress and enjoyed it. I believe that this place is the combination of Asian cultures of the Iranians, Tajiks, Afghans, and Uzbeks. Hissor city provides evidence of the magnificent history of the Tajiks. It is the heritage of the Tajik people and the entire Central Asian region. These sites demonstrate Tajikistan's archaeological heritage and the people's outstanding history. However, the majority of written evidence is kept in the National Library of Tajikistan, where visitors can learn more about the ancient manuscripts and rare books of the past.
Самая древняя книга – это история Табари,
The oldest book is called Tabari's History, which is about the origin of humanity. This work is the biggest book of Siyari Sharif in terms of volume and weight. This work is a biography of Prophet Muhammad. The book weighs 7.5 kilograms. You can learn about the Quran with a 700-year history and written with gold letters. You can read a small Quran using the magnifying glass, given that the holy book was written using lithography. The book weighs 1.6 grams. The section also includes a purchase agreement of the 12th century, which was written on animal skin and found in the Hissor fortress. In total, 10 million books are being kept in 28 bookstores. Today, 6 million books are stored in the fund. Approximately 100,000 copies have been transformed into an electronic format. Moreover, nearly 500,000 scientific works have been digitally transformed. There are nearly 90,000 books in the foreign department that can tell about the global civilization. They are written in 42 different languages. There are books that give a reader an opportunity to get acquainted with history, culture, and literature of Kazakhstan. The institution has 25 reading rooms, which can fit 1,500 people. Teenagers are one of the majority of readers visiting this library. I've been visiting the library since I was 7 years old. I like reading verses and fairy tales. I want to know about the village, the world of psalms, and various folk tales.
I
love reading historical books. I would like to get acquainted with the history of all countries. It is interesting to read encyclopedias that tell about the world as well as fairy tales. This high wall depicts a 5-year history of the Tajik people. People's artist Sabzali Sharipov has been drawing on the wall for 21 years. This is the largest library in Central Asia. The National Spiritual Fund is 45,000 square meters. The exterior of the beautiful building depicts an open book. There are statues of great philosophers and writers of Tajikistan, which surround the library's facade. Tajiks are famous for their unbeaten wrestlers. No national holidays is celebrated without Gushtingiri. The history of traditional wrestling takes its root from the 5th and 6th centuries. Imam Hussein Umarov does freestyle wrestling with ancient history in Central Asia and also does several other types of sports. He joined the Guinness Book of Records when he was only 3 years old. The young athlete, who has been leading a healthy lifestyle and exercised intensely for 4 years, has got up from the floor 11,000 times in 6 hours and 20 minutes. I am 8 years old. I can do any kind of sport. I practice every day to become a world champion in the future. Masters of Gushtingiri are called Palvan, which means warriors who are popular and respected by people. This land has produced a number of the warriors. I have become the world Sambo champion. I've been training for 14 years. I ended up in the group of wrestlers through our national fight. I'm glad that now most of the country's youth does this type of sport. Especially ancient game rules have been well preserved in settlements. The fight takes place on soil and sand. Gushtingiri is similar to the Kazakh belt wrestling, but the Tajik fight's game rules are a bit different. When the wrestlers' shoulders touch, they can use wrestling tricks such as leg throwing, wrestling hold, wrapping, and throwing from the belt. Grabbing techniques are used in this type of wrestling. The one who throws his opponent from the shoulder wins the fight.
Того, чтобы Федерация борьбы Gushtingiri стала международным,
Gushtingiri Federation should open other federations in other countries in order to become international. The focus should be on the countries that celebrate Nowruz holiday, including Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, India, and Iran. The negotiations are being continued regarding the Kyrgyz fight Kurash and Kazakh fight Kures.
Kurash, Federация Kyrgyz национальной борьбы, Казахской национальной борьбы.
Tajikistan is a country that respects its ancient history, culture, and national traditions by improving and popularizing them according to the trends of the modern world.